conversation. And on the conversation today, we'll be talking about something concerning Plateau State. The political atmosphere is charged. This is simply because something is about to happen on October 9. The umpire is here. I'm not competent to speak on these matters, but the person who is saddled with that responsibility has honored us to tell you more about what they have been doing and how they intend to do it. Join me in welcoming Honorable Planji Daniel Shisha.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Well, from June till now, about a month ago, you hit the ground running as if you were prepared.
I'm privileged to be working in an election management body before coming here. I've worked with INEC for 18 years plus, and there are basic procedures when it comes to election management. So it's an opportunity to serve the people of Plateau State in this capacity, not because we are better and bigger than other people. It's just the will of God that we should be here by this time.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, switching roles, and you're coming to a terrain that people have, to an extent, it looks like Nigerians have contempt for state independent electoral commissions. And recently, the Attorney General of the Federation and your immediate past boss, your boss, the INEC chairman, spoke in such a manner that you would think that it's a bad situation entirely for elections to be handled at that level. The INEC chairman called it a coronation exercise, and Fagbemi said, you know, the responsibility should be taken away from state governments. What's your take on that?
Well, based on antecedents, people have the right to have their own judgment. They could be right based on the past. But there was a time that INEC was almost like that, where elections were not concluded. You could remember the former president of Nigeria, late Yaradua of blessed memory. When elections were still going on, he was declared the president of this country. And when he came in, he even confessed to that fact that the process that brought him back was not a good process. But because of series of legislation and processes of appointing credible people, today INEC is what it is today. You don't throw the baby with the bathwater. I believe that we are doing a federal system of government, and you can't be talking about autonomy of local government, the third tier of government, and you are taking autonomy of a state to the national again. Then what are you doing in federation? I believe that coming from INEC is already overburdened with so many responsibilities. There were promises that INEC made and could not fulfill. For instance, if you ask the obedient, they will tell you they waited for results to be uploaded, they never saw it, and they felt they were robbed of that opportunity. And today people are protesting, and are protesting because of what INEC, presumably by other people, feel that INEC couldn't do. I think Nigeria has come of age, and I believe that if you look at the larger scale, you don't carry excessive power and put at the center. Because by the time you have a reckless president, then you see issues coming up like we are talking about local governments. So CX, as much as possible, if you look at the history of CX, even coming back to Plateau, in 2021, billions of naira were spent for election, for them to conduct elections. While elections were going in polling unit, people were collecting results. People were coronated like the chairman of INEC said. So, but I think we can clean the baby with the water, throw the water and keep the baby.
Okay, let's talk much about what you intend to do. You've been so busy. The speed, I would say, is like dizzying. From one event to the other, touring the 17 local governments, engaging electoral partners, talking to the people. What are your takeaways from the engagement you had with the people across the 17 local governments?
Yeah, I think the advantage that we have is when you have an appointing authority that allows you to be independent and trusting the capacity of people you appoint and giving them the leverage. It makes a difference. And also, when you choose the right people, in our own case, you have people who love Plateau, people who are committed to doing the right thing. So we are working as a team. It makes the work easier. So we came with a single mind, and intent and purpose to change the narrative. And I dare say it, by the grace of God, in the next few months, we are going to prove that election at the State Independent Electoral Commission can be credible. That is why you are seeing the kind of speed and energy we are putting. We believe that this country can be better if processes are followed. Coming to Plateau, people should not look at interest, individual interest. We should look at the state as a whole, and that's what we are seeing. Our belief is that when you engage the people and allow the system to run and make the institutions bigger than people who occupy it, I think we can get it right.
From just north to Wasi, from Kanam to Mangu and all the other places, I'm sure their thoughts will not be the same on your engagement with them. What are the fears perhaps expressed by some of these people in the places you met with them?
So when we came, we knew that we have a Herculean duty, because in terms of the setup of the office, administratively, there was no connect between the organogram to what an election management body can do properly. So we engaged that and restructured the whole place, and the restructuring is an ongoing process. We are working as a committee rather than having people occupy a department or something. So we are getting to be used to each other while we are working on that organogram. We also know that there is credibility deficit because of the lack of trust in the institution. And what we are doing and are still doing is to rebrand the whole institution. And you cannot rebrand sitting in the office. Elections are done not in secrecy. They are doing in consultation with many stakeholders. So to us, we needed to go around to the people. After all, we consider ourselves as ad hoc staff of the commission because our tenure ends after 5 years. So we need to work to make people believe and trust what we are doing. And surprisingly, going to those local governments, you see people amazed that this thing can be done this way. People did not know that CX should be accountable to the people. So it makes the work easier. We interacted with them. You see people saying that they've never seen this kind of thing before. And from what we keep telling them, that's why you are seeing the kind of turnout already. The politics is heated. Many political parties, so far now, about 4 or 5 political parties have indicated interest to participate in the election, including the other one that was there before. Initially, there were trust deficit on their part too. But 2 days ago, we received a letter indicating an interest that they will participate in the process.
The party that was there before also, they're in court challenging their removal. So how would this go on?
I'm not aware of that court challenge.
All right. Not against Placid.
No, okay.
They had instituted before Placid was constituted.
Okay.
Yes. So looking at Plateau State and the electoral wards,
yeah.
You've been there, you know also that elections are a huge responsibility of resource mobilization, human and capital. Yeah. And we had about, in 2022, prior to the election, we had about 2,500 polling units. Yeah. And then some polling points were converted to polling units. So how ready are you to reach out to all of this?
Okay. There are disparity between what INEC calls registration area and State Placid calls electoral wards. INEC calls registration area because they don't produce councillors. They use those places for registration and other activities. There are about 207 registration areas. That's what the INEC uses, while Placid has 325 electoral wards. Invariably, it means that we are going to have 325 councillors from those units. In 2021, elections were conducted by Placid using 2,631 polling units. But in between that and 2023 election, about 2,358 polling units were created by INEC. So today, Plateau State has about 4,989 polling units. And you know, we cannot conduct election in 2,631 because we are using the creation of INEC. Because if we use the all units, it means we are defective when it comes to the issue of legality. So as I'm talking to you, we've been able to get those new units, and we are aggregating it into those 325. And that formed part of the discussion we had with stakeholders when we went round. These polling units do not belong to Classic, do not belong to us. It belongs to the people. When they were created, they participated in the creation of those polling units. So what we did was based on the theoretical aspect, what we can do in the office, we were able to select those and put them in the right places based on our knowledge. But we have mobilized the stakeholders, talking about the political parties, development associations, youth groups, women, and so on, and civil society organizations that we interface with, including security, to tell them that we are going to pass those things that we have done in the office at all the wards in the local governments. It's their responsibility now to sit together to now say this unit belongs to this place, put it here. This one is here, so that they can also own the process. And it's also helping us. That process is also helping people to believe that we are serious with what we are doing. We are not carrying files in our armpits and running and hiding. We have given it back to them, let them participate in the process to see that by now, between now and next week, we should have a document we can use properly.
It means you also have to call them to validate the actions you're taking.
Exactly. Immediately after we have done this and we have documented, we will still go around and post them so that they can see and validate what we are doing.
What's the handshake like between PLATEAU and INEC? I saw you visit them. I've also seen some electoral partners, you engaging with some electoral partners, the Yaga Africa and the rest of them.
I must at this point give credit to His Excellency, Pastor Caleb, to show seriousness, like I said initially. Most issues that people in the CX usually have is when you have serious pressure from the appointing authority. But when we came, he had already visited some of these international organizations and assuring them that he is a beneficiary of a good process. Therefore, he will allow SEC to be independent. So when we came, it was easy for us to have IFES come. Apart from that, some of us, because of our relationship in INEC before, had contacts with these people, Yaga Africa and the rest of them. So they saw it as an advantage for them to come, and after all, they are part of PLATEAU. Some of them were created from PLATEAU. So we were privileged to have that opportunity for them to visit. I can tell you that the relationship is robust. Within 1 month, IFES has come twice, and we're expecting them by next week again. Yaga Africa is like an organization from PLATEAU, because the person that started it was Samson Itodo, who started here, and we were privileged to be part of that initiative. So we are having a robust relationship also with INEC. INEC is like I said, I have worked there for about 18 years. So when we went there, we said the relationship is so encouraging. We have received some of the necessary things like the EV, electronic voters register already. We are also collaborating in the area of technical support and also capacity building. So these ones will be coming from stage to stage.
Yes, you talk about capacity building. I know you've had training, and looking at what staff are available to PLATEAU to be able to carry out and implement some of these processes that we're undertaking on the 9 or building up on the 9. And how many of ad hoc staff will you be engaging side by side your own staff?
Okay, as it is now, there are those who are already permanent staff of the commission. Of course, they are vital component of that category of staff. We are looking at having collection officers in 325 wards. We are looking at having three, or we have not concluded on having 3 or 4 per polling unit, depending on the sizes. So what we are looking at between 17,000 to 19,000, 20,000 people that will be deployed. And I'm happy to tell Plateau people that we've been able to start engage processes that will bring credibility to the process. For the first time in the history of PLATEAU, we are discussing with the state tertiary institutions to harness from the lecturers and also the students. A category of that will be students from tertiary institutions. The reason is because the presiding officer is the man in charge of the polling unit. And if you are getting somebody who should be accountable, who has an address, who may even have phone number, is a tertiary student, because he is somewhere and he has lecturers who oversee him. So we are going to see some level of accountability, so that once you want to do something that is bad, you know that you can be called upon.
I'm sure you are also not unmindful of how people see the lecturers now in the electoral process.
Yes.
And now you are telling people, I thought you might have said the clergymen or some people other than the lecturers.
No, if it is Nigeria,
the trust deficit is also there.
Yes, even the clergy, if you call clergy to some people again, they will say, yeah, it's better. So
what are the modalities for the recruitment? Because at every point of ad hoc staff, there are accusations and counter accusations that these are carrying members of this party and that party and the rest of them.
Unfortunately, when you are dealing with election matters, for instance, you find 2 or 3 people contesting. The person who wins will say you have done the right thing. The person who will say you cheated him. It's just like a student and a lecturer. He'll say, I got 100%, I got A. If he sells you, they say the lecturer failed me. So a balance must also be struck. But one issue is that if you leave the space for anybody to just be part of it, and the person tells you, I am from Koking Kerang Tulu, for instance. So he gives you a fake number or any number. So if there are tribunal issues, you begin to look for somebody in Kerang Tulu. Where do you start? But when you have somebody who has address, he knows that if anything goes wrong there, he can be accountable for those.
Well, in the course of time since you took over, you've been very confident in giving assurances. What is driving you? Where did you get that confidence to say this is going to be right, this is going to be different?
I believe that every human being is created with a destiny. I come from a background that believes that you do the right thing and it will come to you. Again, I also believe that I am still not too old. I'm not too young, so I have a future ahead of me. Thirdly, I have a governor who does not put pressure in the process, because if he had wanted to do anything like what is being done in other places, he would have carried a politician or somebody else here to come and do. So, but the quality of people he selected shows to me that, and with my engagement for 1 month plus, without any interference, rather, he is the one encouraging you to do this, to imbibe. In fact, let me even tell you, he was the one that was insisting that I should go to INEC and get beavers. And I was privileged. I went to the office and I convinced the national commissioners, 5 of them, that even though they had a policy that they would not give their beavers, and they took me to the chairman. But we went there and tried to get the beavers, because the beavers, they call it a magic machine when it comes to election. But we were not able to get it, the beavers, because of accreditation. So it's His Excellency that is even saying that we should get that thing so that we can get it right on the plateau. And I believe we will change the narrative.
How many people are we expecting at the polls? I know it's not always 100%.
Yeah.
But those from the registered, the register, and the register you have collected, and the use of technology. The technology also created a problem at a point that Nigerians started thinking whether our own technology is different from the global community. Once you are able, is it going to be real time as we were promised, or there's a different scenario that we're playing out here?
Okay. Looking at the time that we have, what we are trying to work, which will be concluded between today and tomorrow, we are concentrating basically on accreditation. There are 2 million plus registered voters in Plateau. But our concentration now is to ensure that one person vote per time. Once you get that clarity, it reduces the tension of insecurity. But if you allow it to just flow, people may decide to say, I'll go there and vote, and people will write results. So as I'm talking to you, we are engaging with some consultants to have an accreditation system that is cheaper and is easy to use. It's been demonstrated, but we are trying to dot the I's and cross the T's to ensure that it's something that is workable. Even when we conclude, we'll still deploy it. We'll do a mock election. We'll select some words and try to see how this thing is being done. And again, as I'm talking to you, if you go to the commission, you'll see some level of changes. The ICT is completely being turned around. We are getting components that will help us to effectively do that accreditation part. And eventually it will go real time. But for now, we may not necessarily go real time. Our first IT that we'll test is the accreditation, so that we'll ensure that people don't just write results. The technology is such that from polling units, as people are accredited, the chairman of the commission can be seeing what is happening everywhere. But it's not voting, back at the back end. So as people finish voting, the accredited figure will be seen. So if you bring an accredited figure that is beyond that, it's a problem. What you will likely see at the local government level, you will also see collection at that level to be an e-collection also.
Okay. There will be manual and then
there will be manual and there will be e-collection.
Okay, we'll take a short break and we'll come back to continue the conversation. Our guest is the chairman of the Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission, Honorable Planji Daniel Chishak. We'll be back soon.
This is the first. It's a very elaborate plan that we have. But the first component we are working with is the accreditation. If you remember, sometime in 2008, where elections, because of mismanagement of election process, lives were wasted and properties destroyed. And this thing is usually associated with writing of results and doing all sorts of things. So in our quest to see that we reduce that, because you may not get it perfect at all, but you must reduce that so that tension will not be created. We will ensure that people who vote are people who are registered Nigerians in that place. So basically, that is the component we are using. And partly, you are going to see in the collation at the local government level will be done using a software that is about the same thing with what INEC did at that level, and also at the final stage at the returning level.
Have you thought about looking at the issue of a particular group of interest, people living with disabilities? How are they accommodated in this process?
Yeah. When we came, nomination fee was a big issue for us. For us, for me particularly, I felt that nomination fee should not even be there in the first place, because at the level of political parties, they do that at that level. But because of some other factors to check the number of anybody that can just say, I want to be chairman, and also to show commitment. People need to, there's a saying that says, you put your money where your mouth is. If you take a responsibility serious and you commit to it, somehow you'll be serious in the assignment you have done. So if you check the nomination fee that we have put across in comparison to some states around, you find out that we are being modest. But we had to reintroduce something to say that people living with disability should not pay anything. But they can only pay when it comes to administrative fee. So on that part, we are.
So how little or how much is the administrative fee?
The administrative for chairman is 250. For, I think I'm right.
Yes.
Then councillor is 100,000.
Okay. One of women, there's been this clarion call to encourage women and also in participating. Are they also paying?
We are encouraging them because they say what a man can do, a woman can do even better. So maybe we should add their own because they'll do it better. So
yes, how much? There was a hue and cry about the fee, and you said neighboring states were much more than Plateau.
There are states.
Did you increase anything on 2021, or you
we left
the same
it.
fee?
We maintain the same thing. In fact, what we reduce is that you find out that in 2021 they separated the chairman and the vice chairman, the deputy chairman. Deputy, right? Yes. It was deputy chairman. The chairman was paying 1 million, and the deputy chairman 750. When I said no, the chairman should be one seat. So we took off the 750 and left the 1 million for the joint ticket. Yeah. So.
Well, part of your engagement with security, election security management, and in Nigeria, elections is almost like war.
Yeah.
You know, when people think about elections, some people fly their families, but will run away. It looks like Armageddon. What assurances have you gotten from
it's true.
Security engagement?
It's true. I was surprised. One of my colleagues who was in INEC, but now is in UK, participated in the UK elections. And he showed me his picture, he slept with his electoral materials in his house without any security.
Well, you know it can't happen.
It can't happen, yeah. so we are dealing with two different scenarios. Yeah. Sometimes that is why you see of a militarization or of a policing of election, people get scared. But it is better to prepare and get people safe than not to do. It is in this respect that we have introduced what is called PLATEAU, that is PLATEAU Advisory Consultative Committee on Election Security. We met last week. The chairman of PLASEC is the chairman of that committee, and the co-chairman is the commissioner of police. You will see that there are about 19 membership from different critical security organizations, including JNI, including Christian Association of Nigeria, including political leadership of IPAC, Interparty Advisory Council, and to us, this peace-building agency is also critical for early warning signals. The idea is to continue to collaborate and meet and appraise our activities. As we engage every activity, we appraise it. And the relationship we are having is very, very robust from the security.
Is there a role for non-state actors in the security aspect?
Okay. So, that's why we are collaborating.
Okay, vigilante and the rest of like we normally see in the other elections.
Okay, yeah, I think that is another aspect that we are also looking at. Because if you go to some local governments, For instance, if you go to Lantang South, it is the vigilante that, because of the kind of the terrain in that place and the culture and the people in that place, you dare not even involve the police at only. You must, because they are the owners of the nook and cranny, so you must put them there. If not, you are going to have problem. So we are looking at that. Operation Rainbow is also part of that. But as it is, we've just been inaugurated. We are putting the framework. Before that, will also have a workshop at that level. Our intention is that this committee will be cascaded down to the local governments. Because that's where the people are actually.
Okay, moving election materials can be also tasking.
Wow.
Sometimes you hear that people are there, they're calling, we are here to get materials until this time. Transportation is very vital. And I do know that you have limited vehicles and to carry out such operations. What is the plan and engagement process like for conveying election materials and to make sure that they are on time?
Yeah. Okay. We have a transport committee, and they have interfaced with Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers and NATO. We have also engaging with even people who are having KK, Association of KK people, and also those who have bikes. So we have a proposal from all those groups. So the intention is for us to see that before election day, we are activating what is called ward area centers, so that materials will not stay at the local government; they will go closer. We are adopting the INEC style because it's more effective, so that at the ward level, as early as possible, materials will be distributed to the polling units around, so that it will also, collection of results will be done earlier. And if you look at that, it has also its effect back on security. Sometimes when you keep elections late, it breeds room for other security challenges. So we are doing that to also nip in the bud any situation that may arise in the course of delays.
Well, the conversation about information and also what you are doing, how well is the media being carried along in these preparations towards the election?
Okay, yeah. And when we came, we found out that there's an administrative unit called when you have the information officers, but we felt that is not enough with the level of disenchantment of Plateau people with plastic. So we've created a media.
With the old plastic, not plastic now.
This is the new plastic, actually. Okay. New plastic. With the old plastic, we saw it was a bit enclosed. So what we have done is to create a unit, and thank God we were gifted with one from PRTV, who is heading the media unit. We are also having members from AIT, from GFM, from all this print media. We're also having the bloggers, social media, different people. In fact, we even have people who are even volunteers for us in this aspect. As time goes on, when the activities peak you see more of that. And I dare say that Plateau is blessed with a lot of media stations and people who are willing to get any good thing happening in Plateau to be spread abroad.
Well, I do know during elections in sister states or other states across the country, you people also visit for peer review.
Yes. And
let's look at what Adama held recently.
Yes.
Edo held recently.
Delta.
What are the takeaways? Delta.
Yeah.
What are the takeaways from those experiences?
I was in Delta State. I think they've done their best, but I think a lot needs to be done. I'm hoping that when they come here, like I said, sometimes most of these people do these things because of the pressure. When you get an appointment and you are not sure what you are going to do, and you are having a headmaster with a stick to ask you to deliver at all costs. So, and when people don't have strength of character to be able to say, no, this I cannot do, sir, let me explain this, I think this will be better. But in our case, the person we have has absolute understanding, and I'm sure with this kind of thing we are going to have, Plateau State will be on the map for something good. I believe so.
Well, we're looking forward to that, because it's one currency that is in deficit about elections in Nigeria, and we'll be happy that you take the lead and show a difference in that. It also means that the hawks around will not put that pressure on. It's normally not the government, but those who have promised that they will deliver. Yes.
Some of us can be unassuming, and it's better because, like I said, Plateau State, Nigeria, this country has to change, and the practices that ought not to be done should not be done. After all, in Plateau State, we are all brothers and sisters, especially politicians. Today, you'll see one in Party A, and he'll be insulting Party Z. Tomorrow, he'll be the one in Party C, and that same party. Yes. So we need to be assertive and, of course, follow the rules.
How much of materials will you be needed? And printing is expensive now. How much would this election cost Plateau people?
I don't have these details now, but it is obvious from 2021, foil, I believe, was about 100 and something. Now, foil for logistic alone, you are talking about 600 and something naira for foil. If you look at I was looking at what do you call inflation rate, it's about 40% now. The cost of diesel, the cost of things generally. That is why today you are hearing people saying they want to go on protest because of the standard of living. Elections are generally very expensive, and our own will not be less because we are going to the same market. And by the grace of God, we have been trying to cut down cost. Okay, I'll give you a few examples. The accreditation system that we are introducing, we are using Android phones. And if we say we want to procure Android phones, the minimum you may have is about 60 or 50,000. And you multiply that into 5,000, it's a huge lot of money. So what we are using is that the presiding officer, who is going to likely to be the person who will handle that, the pre-qualification for him to be presiding officer is for him to have an Android phone. And our expectation is that tertiary students at this level, most of them have Android phones. So all we need to do is to give them stipends for using their phone. Then they now download the app that we have and they use it. Immediately after they use it, that app becomes useless. Immediately after using it, they can access. So we are using what they have, and we are giving them stipends.
That's the technology you're bringing.
That's the technology we are bringing. So you are seeing, instead of buying Android phone, because even the Beavers itself is an Android. So we are using what they have, then give them stipends, and at the same time achieve what we have. So we are cutting costs as much as possible to see that even with the innovations we are bringing, we don't overburden the state with it.
Okay. You have some reservations about what happened in other states and you have witnessed. So those gaps, how do you intend to correct them here?
Okay. Some of the issues we have is that when you are conducting elections and you do not deploy materials on time, some people will even get angry and not turn out. Those who turn out will say, Kai, I can't wait, and they will leave. Those are some of the things you see. So like I said, we are trying to correct it by introducing this word area centers so that materials can go on time. And in other places, it shows that adequate publicity we are not giving in terms of procedures to election. that we are also resolving. We have engaged. We have gone around almost all the media houses, and of course NUJ, who were working in partnership to see that the information are disseminated to the people.
Well, the process is ongoing until the election time.
Yes.
And in between, is there a mechanism of evolving to having checks and balances on each department? You're chairman there,
Yes.
but other people will carry responsibilities on your behalf.
Yes.
Is there a mechanism for checks and balances?
Yes, sir. We want to, I told you we are putting an ICT, a very robust ICT. What we want to activate is the situation room. Sometimes people think that situation rooms are done during the election, but in our own case, we want to start immediately the ICT starts, so that already there is a framework that we have developed with IFES, where you see on the table, you see activities, you see whose responsibility is it to handle, and who is supporting who, and timeline, by what time are you supposed to do. So we are intending to have that on our platform, so that we can be monitoring. We intend to have what is called a form of like a Servicom, where it will be monitored, and to ensure that every day when you come, you see countdown to election. As you are seeing, if it is 80 days now, tomorrow you see 79 days. Then we already have our timetable. Every office you enter now, you see this, what do you call it? Yeah, with the activities, and the person responsible for that.
We have about 2 months, barely 2 months.
Well, 2 months.
Yes. So what are the expectations?
Our expectation is that all the logistics arrangements should be ready by third week of September, and preparations at that level should be almost 100% at that level.
Well, there's one ceremony that a ritual that has come, that you go and inspect, you keep them with the central bag, you keep these materials there. Where would we be keeping yours?
That's a security information. So, but as we get to that point, we'll certainly let the people know.
At times, elections come, they accuse people of who is printing, who is not printing, and who is the allegiance of the person printing. It doesn't really matter in election duties.
Yeah, it matters when you have the managers who are already biased. People have to put their eyes on. Usually in security documents, in fact, it starts from the appointment of those who manage elections. When you bring people who are easily bought over, people who have unstable characters. But I'm happy to tell you, amongst us are very, very mature people who have a history. So the most important thing is that those documents, the sanctity of the ballot should be kept, and the secrecy of it should also be kept.
Some may not have had your experience of working with an electoral umpire, and they may not have come from the background that you come from.
Yes.
Can you still vouch for such people in your team?
Election management is not a rocket science. The first thing is when you have people who are teachable, people who are passionate to do that which is right, because election management body is about transparency, it's about following due processes, and doing things openly for people to see. No matter how good you are doing something and it's done in secrecy, people will not believe you when it comes to election. So we have people who, some are even older than us, but somehow they will say, my chairman, and I feel a bit,
not part of our culture.
no, because we are not used to that.
It's a responsibility that has been
upon us. So yeah, we are working as a team, and I can tell you, like I said before, that these people are committed and are people who love PLATEAU. I'm after all, we know that the destiny of the people of Plateau is upon our heads. When you carry something that does not belong to another and give another, already you have created a huge problem to the state. So we are committed to doing what is right.
So, well, it's been quite interesting having this engagement with you, and also for people to know and understand these are the things that are coming. But on a final note, what reassurance again would you give? Because you mentioned one fundamental issue, your background and your future and everything that you want to do, and not a repeat of what we had in the past.
Plateau people should expect what His Excellency said, global standard of election. Global standard in the sense that we are open, as you can see, where there are different levels of engagement. We are not claiming to know everything. We are meeting with all the critical stakeholders. The Interparty Advisory Council, we have met like 2 times, and we are meeting very soon. Civil society, we have met with their leadership to give assurance. We are going to be open about those who observe the elections, and to also interest Plateau people to know that beyond this election, we are not just planning for election. We are trying to rebuild the institution to take it to another level. We are looking at having an institute at this level from the commission, and we have started engaging with these international organizations who are ready to give us that kind of support to have something, so that we will learn. It will be a learning process for PLASIC. So I'm calling on Plateau people to believe us, and so far so good. The response that we are seeing, when you are passing the road and you are seeing people gyrating and doing, it wasn't like this before. It shows that to some level, we may not be perfect, but at least we should be better from where we started. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll be having an engagement with the Chairman, Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission, PLASIC, Honorable Planji Daniel Shisha. Thank you, sir, for finding time to be here.
Thank you for having me, sir.
For the parties and everybody, you need to play your role and ensure that, yes, it's not only them, all of us are partners in this process. So we have a duty to also behave well and make sure that Plateau comes out better after this poll. I remain yours sincerely, Yakubu Tide.